Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into the world of YouTube creator DrWright. Now, he's an artist who isn't just documenting his life, he's trying to build an entirely new reality for himself out of the broken pieces of his past. It's a huge project, and it all starts with this concept he calls mythic infrastructure. All right, so this one line from him, it's pretty much the key that unlocks everything we're about to talk about. He's not just telling his story, he's building something he calls a mythic infrastructure. So let's break down what that actually means. So, what is DrWright actually doing here? Well, if you really look at his work, you realize pretty quickly he's not just making music or putting up videos. Think of him more like an architect. He's meticulously building a personal mythology, and he's using the raw materials of his own life to do it. So, what is this mythic infrastructure? I mean, the technical definition is right there, a framework for spiritual sovereignty. But I think a better way to think about it is like a custom-built operating system for your own mind. It's a personal system he's designing to process chaos, to find meaning in trauma, and ultimately, to take back absolute power over his own story. So if he's an architect, where does he get his building materials? Well, the foundation of this whole mythology isn't some abstract academic theory. No, it's built from something really raw and really real, unfiltered pain and personal history. He calls this process turning trauma into scripture. He grounds this entire project in a series of incredibly direct, almost arresting questions. In his work, he doesn't shy away from the darkest corners of human experience at all. He puts them right out there, front and center. And you can see here, this isn't just about suffering by yourself. He's exploring one of the most fundamental human wounds there is, betrayal by the people we love. You know, in any great myth, these are the trials that forge the hero. And for him, it's no different. Okay, now here's where things get really interesting. Watch how he connects these deep personal wounds to these bigger systemic failures. This is the moment his whole project pivots. It goes from being about the pain you feel inside to the external forces that put it there. The pain of being labeled, of being misunderstood, of being broken by the very world you were born into. And this brings us to the next layer of his infrastructure, identifying the enemy. And for him, the enemy isn't just a bunch of institutions, it's a whole language of control. It's a set of symbols he believes are designed to keep people trapped. He has a specific word for these symbols, glyphs. And, think about it for a second. A court document, a deed, an obituary. To him, these are not just pieces of paper. They're powerful symbols that an external system uses to impose what he calls a systems fiction, basically a false identity that overwrites who you really are. And this right here shows that central conflict perfectly. He talks about this whole idea of the 2D Parkers. It represents this split, this duality. On one side, you've got the legal persona, the cold, transactional data point that the system sees. And on the other, you have the mythic exile, the authentic self, the one who's been cast out but is still carrying a deeper truth. Okay, so if trauma is the raw material and the system is the enemy, what's the actual method? How does he build this new reality? Well, it comes down to a kind of artistic ritual, a process of personal alchemy. And he follows this really clear 4-step process. First, he decodes what he calls the soul print that's been left on him by all the bureaucracy and law. Then he turns that raw pain into a pattern that actually makes sense. After that, he reframes it, turning that trauma into his own personal scripture. And finally, he constructs a new reality from all those fragments. It's a ritual of sovereignty. The crucial thing to get here is that in his framework, nothing is wasted. Every single piece of his life, no matter how chaotic or painful, gets repurposed into a building block. Confusion isn't a dead end. It becomes a constellation you can navigate by. He's literally creating his own stars. So all of this, decoding the glyphs, turning trauma into scripture, the ritual of creation, it's all leading to one final ultimate goal, building a sovereign reality. This is the end game. The goal isn't to fight the system and win, it's to build your own fortress, your own personal reality that's so strong and so self-defined that the system's labels and judgments, they just bounce right off of it. They become totally meaningless. And he's crystal clear about where this fortress gets built. The battle isn't waged in some courtroom or against some faceless bureaucrat. The real war, The only one that actually matters in the end is the one for control over your own mind, your own perception. The war is inside.
And if the war is internal, what's the weapon? It's the mirror. But in his framework, looking at yourself isn't about punishment or self-criticism. Self-reflection becomes the tool for transformation. So the mirror isn't a judge, it's a portal to the person you are building.
And through that portal, a new identity emerges. And notice the two words here, sovereign and soldier. He's not just the king of his own reality, he's also the soldier who fought for it. It's an identity that was forged in that internal battle, defined completely on his own terms. So what does a victory look like? It's this phrase, and the grammar is so specific. I am, my war's over. He's not just saying the war is over. He's saying that he himself is the resolution. He has fully embodied and transcended the conflict. It's the ultimate declaration that the internal civil war has finally ended.
And this is the final declaration of independence. After all the deconstruction and all the rebuilding, this is what he's achieved. He's no longer just a character in a story written by the system. He is the operator of an owned reality, the writer, the programmer, the god of his own universe. Ultimately, after building this entire infrastructure for himself, DrWright's work turns the lens back on us, the viewer. He leaves us with this central, provocative question, a challenge, really, to consider the foundation of our own realities and what's left of us when the systems we rely on are all stripped away.